This is a real good story about Drew, a real United Airlines customer.
After almost 4 years of treatments, I was finally cancer-free. My mom's like, where do you want to go to celebrate? I'm like, let's go somewhere tropical. And then pilot hopped on the intercom and started talking about me, and I was like, what is going on here?
My wife beat cancer too, and I wanted to celebrate his special moment.
That's Bill, a real United pilot.
We brought him drinks and donuts. We all signed a card.
I was smiling ear to ear. Best flight ever for sure.
That's how good leads the way.
Finding ways to be financially savvy is a smart move, and knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream home or new ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid. If you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices. We'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands. Or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Trojan family, what is up? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Thank you, as always, for making this a part of your day. Certainly appreciate it. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Developing story, we'll just jump right into it. Good news, working to see if there's any other details about it, but from what I've heard, everything seems to be doing well. But strength and conditioning coach Truman Carroll set to return at USC as the strength and conditioning coach. Now, no surprise there. That was the expectation. That was the plan. That was the hope. But there was a real strong push from his former team, Kansas State, who has moved on, has a new coach in place, building a new staff to bring him back in the same capacity. Obviously, I'm sure with a raise in order to get him back in Manhattan, Kansas. So that was a very real thing. He obviously spent a lot of time there, built a true name for himself at Kansas State, helped lead that team to a Big 12 title game not too long ago when they beat TCU. So, certainly one of the hot commodities in a place that is probably close to his heart that helped him build, but will return to USC. That is great news. The last thing you'd want now is to have to go and look for another strength and conditioning coach, another offseason to implement a new system and all the new intricacies that come with that position. Now, all coaches are obviously very important and do certain things and are in charge of certain aspects of the team, whether it's a certain position or game planning or schematically or whatever. But you could argue that the strength and conditioning coach is maybe the most important assistant after the head coach. I don't think that is a crazy argument to make. This is someone that is essentially responsible for laying the framework for the culture of the team. Now, it comes from the top, the head coach, kind of what the culture wants to be, what the discipline, accountability, but it's the strength coach that really carries it all out. He's the one that's involved much more day-to-day, much more in the offseason with the offseason workout program, keeping guys accountable, keeping guys obviously healthy, nutrition, and then obviously in the weight room and all that stuff. So I don't even think it's actually that much of an argument. Maybe the most important assistant after the head coach. So hugely important that they were able to retain him. I think he was a tremendous hire when they brought him over. I know there was some, I don't know about questions, but I think maybe some thought, man, I thought we got this like rock star strength and conditioning coach, and this year goes, and do we really look that much tougher? Yeah, I think incrementally, but is it that much? Man, we have all these injuries. Like, was this really the right move? In my opinion, and I think you can speak with many else out there, he was given such a short amount of time to kind of implement everything he wanted to do, right? Comes in after spring camp, essentially. So he's able to draw up and create his systems for the summer workout program. And then you go in the fall camp and then the season. So really not enough time to get everything exactly how it's going. Now, he obviously was helping implement more different accountability things and discipline and things like that. And obviously discipline was kind of a roller coaster for this team. You saw some games real bad, some games real good. And you saw moments bad, moments good. I think now with the full off season, you're able to really hone in on a lot of those things and improve them, not just incrementally, but exponentially. I think we'll see a lot greater improvement in all of those areas, in discipline, in accountability, in health and injuries and wellness. And so huge to be able to get Coach True back full off season and able to get everything going. So, anytime your former employee kind of wants you back and there's, maybe some real thought there. I don't know how much he thought into it. This was not like a big story that was out there. It was kind of like in the pipelines all around, and you could hear little murmurs. And, anytime there's so much coaching movement, and the coaching carousel this year is one of the wildest I can remember, there's only a select amount of guys that are truly considered elite. And so they're going to get calls and there's going to be chatter. And so obviously there's been quite a few about all of USC from the top down with all these job openings. So that's a big one, getting him back huge. And we'll see if there's any new reporting or anything official that the team says or whatnot. Obviously they are down in San Antonio preparing for the Alamo Bowl. And so probably not top of mind to make an announcement, but we'll see if anything. But hey, you heard it here. You've seen it probably elsewhere. So big news. Good to hear. 4 other coaches to look for. And we'll keep you posted right here on the USC LAFB channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have not already, what are you doing? Hit that like and subscribe. Helps us out. And certainly we do appreciate it. Quickly, before I talk about those 4 coaches we're keeping an eye on, give a quick shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. If you haven't already, download the Sleeper app, #1 sports app, free to download. It's great for season-long fantasy if you're into big fantasy football fan or fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey. It's got every sport. But the daily fantasy is probably where it's the most fun because you're essentially choose any sport, any game, just choose 2 to 8 players across those sports, and all you're doing is choosing more or less receiving yards, passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, anytime touchdowns. If you want to go baseball, home runs, hockey, basketball, it's got every sport. You can put LeBron, Justin Herbert, Jaden Mayava, all of them on the same daily fantasy ticket. So when you go to download it and you go to make your first deposit to play in the Daily Fantasy League, make sure to use our promo code. You see it down there below, USC LAFB. They're going to give you a match bonus deposit up to $100. You put in $100 deposit, they're going to give you $100 free to play with. If you don't want to do 100, just do 10. They'll match you $10 to play with. USC LAFB. And right now, just for signing up, if you've never signed up for Sleeper or you want to use a new email address, sign up for a new account and you're going to get a free $20 to play with. Just for signing up, no deposit required. But use that promo code USC LAFB and they'll stack it. So you're getting free 20, put in 10 of your own. They're going to give you another 10. You're sitting at $40 to play with. Best time to do it, end of the year now. Have some fun as the playoffs start across all these sports and NBA and NHL really get ramped up. So Sleeper, USC LAFB, tell them the USC LAFB show sent you. So the 4 coaches now to really kind of watch for. We know Danton Lynn, obviously the big name. I think we will have clarity right after the bowl game. I think it'll be quick. You want to go into the new year, go into the transfer portal opening January 2nd with zero doubt of what is happening with this staff. So this will happen, I think, by New Year's Eve. I think we'll know. And to me, it is really still kind of 50-50. I think there is absolute interest of Lynn and Penn State. Obviously, we know Penn State wants Lynn. I think there is interest there for Lynn. I'm not saying he doesn't like USC. I think it's just interest, right? It's your alma mater. There's some passion there. You're kind of starting fresh, new. There's not the high expectations of joining a staff that's trying to go for a college football playoff. Whatever you want to say about that, whatever, but I think there is some interest there. I think USC wants Lynn back, clearly. But we'll see, especially with the whole Pete Kwiatkowski thing being available, free and clear. You don't have to go and pay a buyout anywhere else. As I've said before, and I've talked about this, this makes things different because USC, the big holdup at the time was Penn State didn't want to pay the buyout for Dan Lynn, either didn't want to or couldn't. USC was like, well, okay, well, if you can't pay the buyout, then move along. We'll see if it gets to a point where they'll say, okay, well, since we don't got to pay a buyout of someone else to replace you, maybe we'll lower that buyout or whatever and, mutually agree to just, hey, let's just each get fresh starts. That's just me talking kind of through it all. But we should have clarity by New Year's Eve, I believe. The other defensive coach to watch in that would be Rob Ryan. I don't see any other of the staff leaving or going with Lynn. I'm not guaranteeing it. I just don't see any of that happening. I don't think USC would let that happen. If it, they have a say in it. So to me, if any other defensive staff, the only one to really watch to me would be Rob Ryan, whether he follows him, whether he retires, whether he decides to try to go back to the NFL, or if USC says, hey, we still want you here, even without, that package deal kind of thing with Lynn, we want you back. So that's to watch on the offensive side. And I don't think there's real concern here, but just to watch both Chad Savage and Zach Hanson, Zach Hanson, also somewhat pursued by Kansas State, similar to Coach True. So it's, one to watch. I don't think, again, the only reason they would leave would be with a very substantial pay raise and also a promotion. So they are position coaches. They would need to be promoted to offensive coordinator and potentially even given play calling duties, which neither of them have called plays. So those would be massive losses. USC cannot let that happen. To me, Chad Savage, I don't see any real chance of that happening. I think he's very happy coming from Colorado State to be at USC. His whole recruiting domain has been SoCal anyway. So he's here in it and he can stay here and live here and coach for the team that represents here. He's only been here 1 year. And being on the staff on the stage, I don't see any real threat to that. Coach Hanson, a little bit more threat just because that not only is that his alma mater, he played for Kansas State, played offensive line, graduated from Kansas State, but also got his first coaching gig for Kansas State as a tight ends and assistant offensive line coach before he started moving up his ranks and ended up ultimately with Lincoln Riley. So obviously much deeper ties for him there. Now, obviously he has built his family here in LA, been here long enough, had his son just recently. So I think he's pretty rooted here, but if offered an OC position, you never know. So we'll keep you posted. Again, I'm not hearing that's likely, but it is out there. There are interest from Kansas State, clearly. Why wouldn't there be? There should be interest in just about every program out there in both these guys, but Coach Hanson, I think, has proven he's going to be one of the premier offensive line coaches in the country. So, unfortunately, this is going to be one of those things probably yearly. When you build a staff that has really good coaches, every year there's openings, there's going to be a want to potentially take those guys. That's just the way it's going to go. So USC, hopefully, A, can retain all their guys, but B, you hope they build those kind of plans in place to where if a guy leaves, you have a replacement in place and you're not losing things aren't falling apart because one position coach leaving. So we'll keep you posted on any of that as it comes down the pipeline. But a quick little update for you on kind of the coaching as USC heads into the Alamo Bowl just next week. So everyone's doing well. I'll probably be back later today. Another little recruiting nugget update and anything else that comes out. You got it covered here on the USC LAFB YouTube channel. So please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Become a member before the new year. Why not? Help us out. You get little discounts on our custom made merch. Plus, which is always free, but you get added access to our message board over at LAFBnetwork.com. Plus, we're going to start doing, heading into next year, some events, some potential meet and greets, looking at starting kind of an LAFB tailgate on game days potentially. Maybe I'll make duck tailgate. Who knows? Maybe I'll have my wife make her El Pastor, which is just the best out there. So, we'll look at stuff like that. So you get access to all that and updates on all that as we continue to build this thing out. So appreciate you, family. As always, fight on.
Hi, I'm Andy Staples from Andy and Ari on 3, and another 5-star quarterback just entered the transfer portal. That's what college football is now, a nonstop adventure, and we cover it every day at Andy and Ari on 3, whether it's the transfer portal, the college football playoff, the coaching carousel, you name it, and guess what? It doesn't stop even when the season ends. So join us every day, Monday through Friday. New episodes drop at 3 p.m. wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.